We have a tight schedule today, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. I know how busy everyone's schedule is for this show, and appreciate you spending time with us today. It's also my honor to be here as president of the OWA. As I look around this room and it begins to fill, it's just a reminder of how unique it is to be surrounded by so many talented, passionate, IT professionals who have all committed their career efforts to advancing the gift of sight. Within this room, there are varied experiences, generations, and backgrounds as we gather to support one another, continue our learning, and meet new friends. As president of the OWA, my hope is to continue to lead our organization in a forward direction to further our mission of promoting the leadership roles of women in the optical industry, while remaining consistent with our goals of value, engagement, accessibility, and expansion. For those of you who were at the signature OWA Champagne Breakfast in New York City, the amazing support for the OWA was apparent and wonderful. We had record-breaking attendance. In October, we held our first OWA Unplugged retreat in sunny California. It was an absolutely amazing experience, and I'm thrilled to announce we're having our second retreat next month in Charleston, South Carolina, which is now full capacity. I'm also happy to announce that over this current year, the OWA has record-breaking community participation and engagement. Thanks to all of you. Your involvement with the OWA begins at the committee level, as you know, and we welcome all members to actively participate. You can express your committee interest through the OWA website. Another way to contribute is through the OWA blog and 1-minute mentorship articles. Despite being busy, you can still get involved through thought leadership. We all need it, and we need you. Yesterday, our board of directors met to chart the course of a bright future for the OWA, and we welcomed one new talented board member who joins our team of 13, who continue to serve with enthusiasm, passion, and give up their time generously. I love our board members. As I continue to challenge each of them to imagine the OWA in a big and new way, I'm very proud to announce once again today some of our incredible new programs and enhanced member benefits that will soon be available to you, our OWA members. Creating connections among our members is at the heart of the OWA. Over the last 9 months, our website committee has made some tremendous improvements, and we're excited that we have just launched a new and updated platform and look for the website. And today, I'm announcing a very exciting brand new member portal that will house our new community corner. This will be a new way for members to connect and inspire each other. To access the member portal, our existing members, and that's most of you, are going to need to log into the new site and enter login credentials. Don't worry, it's easy, and you can use the same email and password that you've been using. If you haven't already, take a moment to scan the QR code on the screen or on your tables to get started. If you're a member, you'll fill out your information, which will bring you to a landing page. You will see a preview of the community corner, and you will be the first to be notified when the member portal goes live in a couple of weeks. When you can access the member portal, you will see the community corner marked with a badge that says new, so you won't miss it. So let's take a look inside. In this new hub, you'll find 4 beautifully laid out sections to engage with your fellow OWA sisters. There's a milestone moment section that's dedicated to highlighting personal and professional updates from our members. Think about wedding announcements, promotions, and other celebratory moments in your lives. We also have a mingles and meetup section where you'll be able to learn how to schedule a coffee connection chat with each other. You spoke and we listened, and now you have an opportunity to virtually connect with other members in the OWA. You also find the creativity corner where recipes, inspirational quotes, and book recommendations help inspire you for your next read. Lastly, our Skill Swap Studio will be a center for skill sharing videos. Jump in there and learn something new in various categories like sales, marketing, personal development, leadership, and beyond. This is your connection hub and virtual home, and every member of the OWA can contribute content. We will make it super easy to do with a clearly laid out submission form in the portal, so we cannot wait to see what you share with us. If you haven't already, scan the QR code on your table to get started. At some point in life, we find ourselves either mentoring or being mentored. It's a continuous cycle that helps us grow personally and professionally. The OWA is excited to give you a sneak peek into our new mentorship program, Full Circle, designed to foster connections among our growing members in a casual, informal, and flexible way. Whether you're just establishing your career, navigating the challenges of mid-career, or reflecting on your experiences in the late stages of your professional life, this program has something for everyone. Through this initiative, it's a chance to connect with like-minded professionals to guide or be guided, dependent on where you are in your journey. This program officially launches in November, so stay tuned for more information in the coming months. We can't wait to see how this new initiative will support and strengthen our amazing network and provide new pathways to success. I'm also excited that we are hosting a networking event on the show floor at Silmo in Paris tomorrow as part of our international expansion efforts. We'll be outlining the OWA core benefits and activities. I now want to thank our long-term and new sponsors. Without their support, we cannot offer the exceptional programming that we do. On behalf of us all, I would especially like to thank the sponsor of today's event, BSP. BSP has been a long-standing sponsor of the OWA. To share why BSP continues to support the OWA, please welcome Michelle Skinner, Chief Provider of Leadership.
Such an amazing organization at the OWA. I was, remembering back, and it's been many, many years since I first joined the OWA. And when it first started, it was just a very small room and a very small group of women who really had a vision and a passion. Wow, look how it's grown today to really have just a cadre of vibrant female leaders and men who are supporting here, who really believe in shaping the optical industry. So it's been fantastic to see the growth over the years. I see so many familiar faces in this room, and it is great to see and know all the connections that have happened over time. When I think about the OWA, I think about so many women who came alongside me really early in my career, which spans 3 decades in the optical industry, and specifically with BSP. And I had some key female mentors who came alongside me really in those early years when I needed it, when I was just new into leadership, just new into management. And I have benefited so much over really them pouring into me over these years, with them offering me guidance and support and wisdom. And some of these women were part of, and still continue to be part of the OWA. You might know some names like Vicki Kroll and Judy Blondell and Ann Engler, who were just so key in shaping me truly as a female leader. In fact, Ann Engler, one of my favorite mentors, shared with me a really tough time in my leadership journey when it seemed like things were going crazy, my team was in disarray. What in the world we were going to do? She said, Michelle, smooth seas does not a skilled captain make. And I held on to that phrase and really saw how true it is when we just work through challenges or lean into challenges. We come out the other side so much stronger, both as leaders and with our team overall. I would also say that one of the other phrases for me personally has been, feel the fear and do it anyway. There's things that we all step into that we might think, am I prepared? Am I ready to do whatever the task might be? But just by feeling that fear internally and doing it anyway, again, we come out so much stronger. And today, we're really going to hear some of that from our keynote speaker, Amanda Shapiro, how to lean in during times of challenge. So at VSP Vision, our purpose is empowering human potential through sight. And we're also focused on empowering female leadership. In fact, at VSP, we are so proud that half of our management team are female leaders. So this aligns so well with the OWA vision and the OWA mission of enhancing and promoting leadership, the leadership role of women in our industry. So on behalf of our VSP Vision family, we thank you all for being here today. This is our 3rd year of sponsoring this Connections Luncheon, and we hope to do it for many years into the future. I'm really excited about what the future holds for female leaders and actually for all of us in the optical industry. So again, I just want to thank you all. Enjoy it. Please come by the VSP Vision booth. I would love to connect with many of you that I haven't seen in a while and others who I haven't met yet. So enjoy today, and again, thank you.
And VSP, your leading support in the OWA. That was wonderful. Before we welcome our keynote speaker, I would like to take a moment to recognize our Leadership Scholarship Award winners. These special people have won an award whose purpose is to reward those who have volunteered their time and efforts to help the OWA reach its goals, and we're honored to support their leadership journey. These awards are also funded through the Individual Contributor Program donations. So thanks to everyone who contributes to the Individual Contributor Program. Our platinum sponsor companies also selected an exceptional female employee who shows promise, dedication, and drive to receive a leadership scholarship. If our scholarship honorees who are with us today could please stand when I read your name, I would appreciate that. Catherine Cruz, Mary Lynn Williams, Shelley Williams, Heather Butler, Monica Chopra, Reagan Davis, Liz Rizzo, Lila Hamish, April Hatton, Kristen Lucas, Carla Myerson, Stephanie Floyd, Tracy Neal, Donna Owens, and Lindsay Roman. Great job, ladies. I'm also proud to announce the winners of the inaugural Clear Vision and Year Grant Program. This initiative is designed to support personal and professional development for women in the optical industry, has selected 2 outstanding recipients for the first round of grants, Daniel Brawl and Michelle Kelly. Tomorrow, we're announcing the round 2 winners at our really expanded Biz and Bevs event that I'm sure we will all attend here in this room. You'll be hearing more from these women as they continue to update the OWA on their progress of using the grant funding to enhance their personal and professional development. And now for today's program. It's my honor to introduce Amanda Shapiro, who is a TEDx speaker known for her thoughtful insights on how we connect in times of crisis. As Vice President of Wholesale Marketing for Europa Eyewear, Amanda brings a wealth of experience and passion for the optical industry, having been formally involved since 2016 and informally since 2009 through her family business. Amanda's been an active member of the OWA since 2019 and serves on the PDF committee. Amanda's also a very personal friend of mine, so please join me in welcoming Amanda Shapiro.
Lori here has also been going through quite a bit of change herself. I don't know how so much pickleball. She's literally on the board. She's the president of the board. Did I get that right? She's the president of the board for the pickle club. It's something I was not aware of. I didn't know that was a thing. Anyway, so let's address change, right? So it is inevitable and it's an essential ingredient for us making the right choices and moving forward. So this is not a novel concept. You know, philosophers have been waxing poetic on this subject for quite some time now. Politicians won't shut up about it. Neither will scientists, not so much like this too. You know, the need for agile decision making is something that is necessitated these days, right? So hand in hand. And James Conant here, I referenced a few times throughout. He wrote Any Task as well, which those of you guys who haven't read it, is fantastic. And it talks about like the dynamics of decision making, and change is such an enormous driver for that. Of course, no one really cares if you don't want it. It all starts growing up, right? So this is something that we have heard many, many times from many, many people, starting with and not limited to our moms. So the uncertainty that comes with change, right, is the scary bit. So globalization, the growing power of the consumer, you know, AI, revolution, right? Like these things are not abstract concepts at this point. They're here, they're happening now. So in our industry, you know, we have nerds. We have nerds like Elise Heinkel here and Mark, right? These nerdy people trying to shine a light on what our collective uncertainty looks like in this industry. You know, so the U.S. economy, recruiting, you know, a lack of viable talent, consolidation. These are things that show up again and again in these reports that they report out. So any one of these things is enough to stress this out, but it is comforting to me to know that uncertainty and change are intrinsic to how we make decisions and ultimately how we choose to move forward. So how we navigate change, right? Flappable and stoic we are. How we navigate change matters. And it starts with recognizing what agency you have and what agency you do not have in change. You know, sometimes, I don't know if you guys have ever been in a situation where you have more influence than you do authority, perhaps in the passenger seat of a vehicle where they're about to make the exit and you try and grab her wheel, right? So a big part of the dance here is knowing where your agency falls, knowing what's in your hands and what's not, what's your wheel to grab and what isn't. So importantly, influence does not equal authority. Just because you have a great deal of influence does not mean somebody put you in charge of making those decisions. So, okay, with this super cryptic warning out of the way, let's get into what we came for. So, how do we build gentle influence through change? So, I like to think about it in terms of the stages of group development, because with change, what comes more often than not are new faces, right? So anytime a brand new person is introduced into a group, even if that group has been around for a long time, you have to kind of start at the beginning of this graph here and move through the stages. If you try and skip right to aiding progress before you started with basics, it is not going to function as well. There's a lot of potholes there and frustrations that wait. So kind of building influence can absolutely increase your agency, and we'll see kind of how that comes into play as we get new members of the team. So starting with inviting participation. So right at the beginning here, kind of in the membership stage, the focus, the kind of core practice of dental influence that we're going to talk about is inviting participation. So I like to think of this as like the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse portion of group development. Come inside, let's come inside. good blend of a good wage moment, but of course, we have to earn it. We have to get there. So, this is kind of what we're going to journey through today. I know we some activities and panel discussion, or activities singular, not this year, and a panel discussion to help reinforce some new points as we move along. So, invite participation. How can we go about this? So, I think a really solid first step, just caring about who we work with. Feels pretty achievable, pretty straightforward. If that feels unlikely or super gross to you, that might be a good indication that it's time to reconsider where you're at, right? There's been a number of studies that make the point that you actually become more like the people that you work with. You're spending a lot of time with these guys, right? So, this study is from the New England Journal of Medicine, but there's a number of them like that, and it looks at something called behavioral contagion. So it's the idea that behaviors, attitudes, even physical attributes like body weight spread through social networks, like viruses. Ooh, spooky. So imagine if you're working with a bunch of shitheads, so it's not good. So the stakes are high. So let's talk about some practical ways that we can care about who we work with. You can start, so here's the question. How can you start caring about level, ironically, right? By requesting specific feedback. So if you're higher status, request broad feedback, just say, hey, take some shots, let's workshop this whole thing if we need to. If you're lower status, ask for really specific feedback. Say, hey, I don't think this section is working, or I don't feel great about the way this promotion is lining up, or I'm not sure if I'm approaching this the right way. You know, those types of things, like I took a first stab at this, or whatever, makes the other person feel more comfortable that if they give you a note, you're not going to like run to the supply room and talk about it. You know, that's like a real thing. That's a real thing. So remember, if someone is objecting to or editing something that you're working on, that means that they're engaged with it. That's good news, right? That's good news. They care about it enough. They care about you enough to engage with your work and make suggestions. So, status aside, another idea is to just laugh, please, you know, like, but, you know, if you're becoming more like the people you work with, have fun. You know, don't be stingy with your thank yous and your gold stars. You know, they mean a lot, especially to those who are like high performers. We eat that shit up. You know, like, that is good news. There are so many books about corporate culture, right? What works and what doesn't, and why it matters, blah, 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 blah. So this is all great. Love your work. Cheerio. You know, the reality is that a company's culture is really slow to change. You know, it's based on underlying values and unwritten rules, you know, about what makes us, us. But what changes much more like the weather is climate, corporate climate. What does it feel like to work with someone? What does it feel like to show up to work on Monday, right? A company's climate, like the weather, you know, sometimes changes for no apparent rhyme or reason, right? It just happens. You cannot manage it or mandate it or expect it to be nice just because you have like an adorable outfit for that day. That's just not how it works. But it's also not super complicated, right? Like, so it's not super complicated. So if you think of this, just for a moment, not too deeply, but you know, I'm talking about the man in the mirror, right? So much. Let's get off that. Okay. So Gandhi also makes a point that I think man in the mirror is trying to express here. So Gandhi really emphasized the importance of personal responsibility in changing climate enough to drive meaningful social change. So look around you. Who is generally positive about their work, their colleagues, themselves? You know, those are your climate creators, right? And one too. So, you know, when I think of people who really get this stuff right, you know, caring about who you work with and making it okay for you to be wrong. I think about people from the great state of Iowa. So, specifically, I think about my colleague, John Ward, who is deeply uncomfortable with attention, so we're going to jump immediately to a slide of stock photography. So, she does not get too weird. But I see it in a way that she makes the people around her speak and think and behave. You know, I see how her presence just causes them to want to be better at their job, better colleagues, better people to be around, and that's absolutely the case for me. So, this quote jumps out at me. So just as you can know the smallness of someone, you can also know the bigness of someone by how they make you feel to work with them. So, you know, there's a lot of big words here coming out. There's a lot of things people demand, right? But the reality is you can be respected by caring about who you work with, and you can be large-minded by trustworthy by showing genuine care for other people's success. You can be timely by understanding what's working and why before putting your stamp on it. And you can be generous by giving the benefit of the doubt and laughing easily. You know, the most influential person in the room is not the person with the best idea. Like, Dawn is one of the worst copywriters I've ever met. But rather, the person that helps bring out everyone else's best ideas. So, we made it. We made it to the ugly one, to the hard part. So, the question now becomes, how, in stage 2 of group development, how can we now share power with as few HBO-worthy plot twists and gratuitous violence as possible, right? So, there are some variables here. The odds are that you're going to have some, at least some, competing interests to navigate in a group while they're learning to work together. So, but you can align interests, right? With even the most unlikely teammates, and you should. Not just because of how ridiculously powerful this handshake looks, but also because when you effectively share your power, it will reduce anxiety, increase confidence, and move everyone in the group forward faster. So if you're willing to kind of trust the process, you know, how do you, if you're willing to trust the process, how do you go about aligning interests? You know, I like to first establish that everyone in a group is human and not, in fact, a robot, because that's kind of becoming an increasing concern. I don't know if you've gotten incredibly polished emails from colleagues that you once believed were human, but now believe are ChatGPT only. So, you know, when I say recognize that we're all human, I'm talking about how every one of us integrates emotions with reason, right? That is just the nature of being human. I'm also talking about how we're all capable of making choices and how we're all of equal worth. So, hashtag perfect, right? So if your group is falling a little short of this particular vibe, you know, then it's likely that you've had some trouble aligning interests. So let's jump into how we can approach that. So be explicit and open-minded about how you'll work together as a group, right? You're forming as a group, so throw some ground rules out there and say, all right, this is the way we're going to move a project forward, or this is the system that we're going to work on. Does this work for you? Do we need to tweak it? Whatever, right? You know, building consensus around the rules versus just handing them down usually gets you further than dictates, you know. Also, you contextualize individual goals. Every single person is going to have some individual goals in their career, right? Otherwise, they're not really, I don't know, they're not doing it, right? They're not treating it as a career, they're treating it as a job. So the people on your team have individual goals, then make an effort to contextualize those inside the group goals, right? So if every human, this is what I think of, if every human was truly out for themselves, right? Meaning like it was just me, myself, and I, or whatever Toby Keith's manic, so that sounds long time. Okay, anyway, so if that was truly the case, then our species would not have made it out of this stone age. That is just the reality. So having power means succeeding together. That's what it means. So another concept, not specifically about Uber, but for me it is, it's converting cynics personal experience, bias that gets activated here. So if you can move them from cynical, like, hey, listen, this is the way I see the world. I've seen enough of your bar graphs and charts, and I'm not interested. I know the book. It's all correct anyway, right? Like, I'm trying to put it in process. Not all the time. It's good enough. Okay, so anyways, if you can convert that kind of language to a skeptic, someone that doesn't take something at face value, right? Somebody, oh, geez, that was exciting. Okay. This is exciting. Is it good for you? Are you guys messing with me? This is a lot. Okay, all right. Corey, can we like shut her down? Start it? I mean, I'll tap dance. Like, okay, there we go. All right, so if you can convert from that kind of language where like I already know the answer and this is my worldview and it's not changing, if you can convert from cynicism to skepticism, somebody that doesn't take things at face value but asks critical questions, looks at how many people were surveyed. Do we have critical? Lisa's looking at me like, I have some thoughts. So she has some thoughts. We'll check in with her. Then you can really start to have meaningful conversations and start living inside of the same reality. It's really, really hard to agree on something, to align interests when you're living on different planets, right? That's challenging. So be patient while others are learning. There is a lot that goes into change, right? There's a lot of scary stuff we talked about that goes into change. There's a lot that you have to kind of get through in order for someone to be in a learning headspace, right? So when people struggle with sharing power, they're often just unsure of whether they hold our respect and whether our interests are in line. So those two things, ensuring that they know they hold your respect, and ensuring that your interests are in line, that you've spent the time to make sure that you're speaking the same language, you're living the same reality, your goals are contextualized with one another, those types of things, can turn adversaries into allies, right? Those are often unfounded assumptions about why someone's doing something or not doing something the way that they are. So most leaders, oh yeah, this is good. Don't skip that. I'll pay attention to the evolution of everything. So most leaders need to be impressive. When you think of a leader, you think of, wow, that person's impressive, right? Do you have to be the impressive one right now in this situation? Or are you better served by letting your team members be the impressive ones? Or by playing the part of someone who would be lost without their team? You know nothing, Jon Snow. That line is like not an accident, right? He knows nothing. He plays a little bit of a buffoon. But he gets killed. I'm sorry. It goes poorly for him for a long time, right? And he plays the role of someone that knows nothing, and ends up putting the best people in places to make decisions and move things forward, move agendas forward. So if you are used to being the star, someone who takes initiative, outworks everybody, delivers impressive results, right? Then the idea that being the star equals being in the spotlight has likely been reinforced with you over and over and over again. So, and further, who are, just by the very nature of being new to a group, anxious to make an impression, anxious to make a positive contribution. Her sponsorship has opened doors for them. For me, she's someone that is so obsessed with making me successful, right? Like asking the tough questions and setting the bar high at the start and digging a little deeper and going a little further. Yeah, those conversations I love. It's so fun, but that coaching has helped me to evolve as a leader, to evolve as an individual contributor, and to evolve as a person. Those types of, that time spent, that attention spent is incredibly valuable. So regardless of how you approach it, sharing power is hard, even when you're as adept at it as Holly Rush. But sharing power is absolutely, this is close your ears if you don't know. Sharing power is absolutely essential for growing influence. And assuming that you don't accidentally put a super hot mother of dragons who you're totally sleeping with, despite knowing she's your aunt, very important story. Or where she decides that she sends in the bed and kills everybody who's in a 3.5 seconds. So assuming that's not the case, then your group is ready to perform. And the question becomes, how can we best aid performance when the pressure to perform steadily increases? So after you've effectively gotten through the membership stage and you've empowered your leaders to lead, there's a real temptation, I think, to exit through the gift shop, to get out of there and be like, you guys, you're great, you guys take it from here. But if you can, remain involved gracefully. So, gracefully like a pink cotton candy colored witch that floats around in a magical bubble. So, if you're charging by the hour for consulting services, you might take this opportunity, the perform opportunity, to optimize system dynamics, that's kind of consulting language. Optimizing system dynamics or something else that sounds super smart, unnecessarily. But in practice, though, we're talking about dropping an encouraging word here, clearing an obstacle there, or calmly persisting that we got this, right? Those are the things. It doesn't have to be system optimizing, whatever, That's the stuff, those little things, when the group puts too much emphasis on pace and process and not enough on people, they're creating superficial speed, right? Rather than genuine, sustained progress. You know, the worst thing to emphasize just on its own is pace. You know, I used to get these urgent all-caps emails from a colleague of mine. She's like prepositional phrases like, heard my last email, totally unironically, you know, just smile on me, red checks, whatever. So I would make deliberate efforts to like close her email and then open it again and be like, I'm reading it with a nice voice. Like, hey girl, I was just wondering if you had anything about me. Like yesterday, you know. I would deliberately shut it down and reframe it for myself in order to dishonor and kind to what she was actually asking for, time, where our interests were aligned so I can get through it. But I will tell you that that type of approach did not get her the kind of speed and urgency and reply readiness that she was so desperate for. You know, okay emphasis is process, right? So I'm like admittedly kind of partial to this one, you know, especially if a process has been working beautifully before this new person got here, like, oh my God, get on board, look how color-coded it is, so nice, you know. But if you cannot adapt your process, you know, your perfect process, if you can't adapt it into something that enables the people around you to do their best work, then brace yourself to be labeled resistant to change. You guys heard that phrase? Like, that's how we get there. So, the best thing to emphasize is people. So, if you can create a shared and clear understanding of our situation and direction, if you can get consensus on the merits of that direction, and the need to all do our part to move ahead, if you can inspire a willingness to adapt quickly and as needed in pursuit of strategic goals, that is how you have rapid, sustained progress. The hamster is off the wheel and like so mountaineering, right? So for me, the person that I have seen do this better and more frequently than anyone I have ever met is not a woman. But he is a super fan of the singer-songwriter Barry Manilow, and someone whose favorite movie is The Notebook, and who was my husband's childhood babysitter. My friend and there was President Jerry Walters. So Jerry has been catalyzing growth at our company for over 40 years. So there's not a job in our company that he's too good for or unwilling to do in a pinch, right? So if it helps our people, he will show up for it. Through all of the uncertainty of 2020, I know all of our businesses have managed that in different ways, right? I will tell you with certainty that like there was not a soul in our company that did not know that Jerry had their best interests at heart. Because I think he knows that trust and respect are not inputs so much as they're outputs. showing up the right way for the right reasons consistently, right? So just because you have an incredible title does not mean that you have earned influence, right? And what does it feel like to not have influence with authority? It feels like you're asking the same stuff over and over again, you're running against the wall over and over again, you're not motivating them to succeed, you're just a broken record. That's what it feels like to have authority without influence. So with that, stop photo anchor. I'm going to turn it over to a quick activity. So on your tables, you're going to see a little map there, or a map, if you will, and an envelope that is filled with some real-world examples of people making good efforts and less good efforts at building
Activities.
activities.
This stuff. We have all this space for it.
Don't try and do it by yourself, because you only have 5 minutes. You gotta work with the team. And I will tell you that there's
Gently influenced me to do this. I got here Tuesday. We did so much fixing today. And then Wednesday, yesterday was our meetings with the governance committee. Okay. It went well. And thank God we got the time and did it to kind of some good people. All of them. Like, so we had 11 new. Oh, sorry. We have the grid. Rob, you're such a good. They love activities. Okay, what are we doing? Oh, see an envelope, but I brought pen. Oh, good. Oh my gosh. Okay, so please give examples of how you might engage with a group into the below table. So I'm guessing that that's like a situation.
Perfect timing. I'm gonna grab some water.
Yeah.
No, we'll get somebody wants water.
Thank you.
Anything to drink.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. As the team lead, you encourage team members to gather teams.
So it's not a good way to set it and then glue it on. Okay, where's that? Where's the color? So it's probably this, right? That's probably the right personalization. Yes. That is part of the workshop. There's no grading. Yeah. These are no. It's a no for their aiming. Right, that's a no, and I was thinking it's under.
starts.
Okay.
Just like I might as well. Because I'm one against it. I could do a separate strike. Here we go. Oh no. Sorry. You're right. We're just setting. Well, it is. So anyway, so we had 11 guests and 10 will likely move into ambassadors. Participate that are out of anybody who's still thinking about it. I don't know yet. I'm still getting to know them. Yeah, I can give you, like, we're working on, like, we call it, like, the outcomes document, so I just want to make sure that I have a good draft of it. I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah, maybe. Somebody did say they went to ice. She's a new ambassador, Dr. She's here.
Take your plate for you.
It was nice to see our happy hour.
I'm going to their happy hour.
Happy hour today. Oh, ours is until 6:30. Oh, yeah. If we can have at 6:30, I don't know if it's just some of them. Do your thing.
So now with that, I'm gonna sit down and do a quick panel discussion with three industry leaders who you may or may not know. So this is Kayla Ashley, this is Rosie Rosie.
go into offices, like turnover. And the reality is that so much of the training, like we can train, we provide an online training service for these doctors and the teams to be able to have a resource for the training. But one of the most powerful courses that we actually did not too long ago is a leadership course. And so much of eye care, we're taught to be, I guess, professionals in our trade, right? As far as independent eye care, like independent doctor, we're taught to be great doctors, we're taught to be great opticians, but nobody's really taught leadership. And what's been really, really powerful is giving a resource to the offices to be able to know how to properly manage their team on this level. We're not talking big corporate levels, we're talking about small business, right? These are small practices. And how do they go about incentivizing their team? How do they go about, getting their team to want to make more of a career than a job, right? On a very, very small level. And something that's been really powerful is
anyone that's an optometrist.
Did they remind you of that or something?
No, I have to everyone does, not an optometrist. And so that's a big change in itself. You know, they're coming from years of practice, and then they're coming into Vision, which is a medical device company with rules, regulations, policies. And then they're now reminding, this is why to me before, or my rep, right? We have also many companies. And so here's a company who's been doing the same thing every day, the way they've been doing it. And then they come into supervision and it's like, no, you kind of can't do that anymore. And so then both areas, right, the top companies try and find their niche. That's where I come in and I try to be very much so accessible. Team me, email me, call me, ask me any questions, the same questions, 10 times if they want, until they get it right, or until they understand.
Until they got some identifiable agency.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, Kayla, I know you've also won another pass, and you, if I'm understanding it correctly, you are both a certified optician, come from the independent CPS space, and now are outside of serving independent CPS, right? So, what was the most successful change management tactic that you used in managing clients and or previous bosses? You know, like.
Yeah, so the most successful tactic would be authenticity, just straight authenticity. For example, my authenticity is I'm going to speak to the elephant that's in my head. You guys might not have noticed, but I had this perfect outfit picked out, and then Vegas got in the way, so I'm wearing socks for this year. That's my little But the thing is authenticity. Authenticity when I'm dealing with and working with our members, you know, when you're going to make a change, listen, y'all are gonna mess up, okay? And it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna get frustrated. But being able to authentically tell them that and tell them what to expect, and then on the flip side, teach them that authenticity in their team implementing change is the most powerful thing that you can possibly overcome. And so to be able to use the tactics of authenticity, and if you're around me for very long, you know that I just reek of it. It's like embarrassing. But authenticity is really, really powerful from a learning standpoint, you know, for the officers, because when you're implementing change, everyone is going to have their failures, things are going to work, things aren't, you're going to flow up. So just leaning into the authenticity is the most powerful thing that's been really helpful.
I believe your authenticity. For sure. We're getting a little low on time. So, Rose, I'll kick to you. I know you're often on the front lines of like integration, right? So, following an acquisition or whatever. So, what's been kind of the most successful tactic you've had in the onboarding process of any member?
Literally just being accessible.
Okay.
Just the communication piece, right? You want to be clear, concise. You can have all the tools and resources, but getting it right, you know, is that bond, right? The feeling a sense of belonging. That is one thing I'm very big on, is making sure that, you know, we hired you for a reason. And so we want you to make sure that you know that you're valuable to the team, and that I feel like you're valuable to the team, and that you actually have a role that's valuable to the company. And so just reminding people that all the time, it's just really, really helpful.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's not, you know, it doesn't have to be huge, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't be a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
So Laura, you know, from your vantage point, and the number of acquisitions that you guys have created, what's been the most successful tactic that you've used in communicating big changes, right? Because it's not just like how it feels to be on
most popular signature networking and raffle event, rebranded as Bids and Doves. You can still get your online auction items voted or paid for online and try to win. It begins at 5:30 back in this room tomorrow. We're all friends here at the OWA, and the Bids and Doves event is just a wonderful opportunity to network. I want to thank VSP again and all of our sponsors. Without you, we would not be able to be here connecting and inspiring the women in our industry. Thank you for your time today.